camera, I went ahead and I cut out or made a rabbet in our face frames on our stiles and our rails, and this is going to accommodate the panel that we cut up to size and glued up. And to make it symmetrical, I went 3 3/4 all the way across on 4 boards, and it worked out perfect for what we need. It's a little oversized, which is what we want. And so here's the other one. And what I did was, to make this rabbet, I used my router table, set it at 3/8 of an inch height and 3/8 of an inch depth to create this on the stiles and the rails. And then once we get these front panels done here, get them cut to size, I will go ahead and put that on the router table, and I will cut 3/8 of an inch rabbet on either side and the top and bottom, and it should fit in place. And when it's fit in place, it should protrude out evenly with the face frame in the front. Hey folks, we're back. Don't mind the thunder in the background. We're having a little bit of rain today. It's about time. We needed rain for a while. What we're going to do is we're going to install the doors. I've already installed one door, and I'm using the European hinge type, and they are called they are face frame inset hinge. And because being a face frame that we have here, and I wanted to inset to where it's flush, so it's flush with the inside, instead of having an overlay where it would stick out like this, such as these cabinets here. These are overlays where the door actually sits on the outside of the cabinet, and I didn't want that, not for this project. So what we've done is I just went ahead and I put this one on off camera, and I'll show you the basics of getting this installed here, how we set it up and drill it, and then we'll install the door. So what I've done is I measured from the top and from the bottom of each door and measured in 5 inches, and that's where we're going to use our hinge template for the from the Kreg system. And all I do is I line it up on the mark. There, got all clamped in place, and we take our 35mm drill bit and we lock it into the jig, as so, and then we proceed to drill in. There's also 2 pin holes here that once you drill your 35mm hole, you want to take a 1/16 inch drill bit and drill into each one of these little pilot holes, and that will set you for your screws that attach your hinge. Now they have a reveal for certain type of door hinges, and the reveal is the distance from the door hinge to the edge of the door where you drill this 35mm hole. In this case, the reveal was 3.5 millimeters for on here, and it seemed to work pretty decent. So here's the hinge. It's a 2-piece hinge. Take it apart, you push this button here and it unlocks. Okay, so to install this, all you do is set this in place. You will get a square. Make sure you're squared up to the door. Then clamp it. Best you can. There. Then we install the screws. Sure is very acceptable. I'll inject a little bit of glue into that afterwards. Okay. Now, take these pieces and we line these up on our marks here, and there's a little ridge right here that we set it on the front of the face frame, or the edge of the face frame, and all we do is we get it lined up on our line, and that should get us pretty square, or pretty lined up with our hinge once we go to screw it on. Okay, I got the door on, got it all hooked up. There's 2 screws that go into the back of here that hold each hinge in place. And what I did was I put the top hinge in, and then I locked it in, and then I went ahead and opened the door, or set it to where that lip engaged to the face frame, and I went ahead and I put the screws in. Now I'll show you a fatal flaw here in a minute as to what happened with this whole project. But can you see my error? This is what happens. This is what happens when you rush. Let's see if I can scale back here. What happens when you rush and you put your door hinges on the outside of the door instead of the inside of the door. Not too happy over that. And but we'll get that straightened out. Okay folks, after a little bit of deliberation and a day off from the shop, I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and plug this door instead of trying to remake it, or use pocket holes on the other side, pocket hole plugs on the other side, and use that as the back to be the front. It's going to show up, but it won't be as bad as I think. So we'll just go ahead and we'll cut some blanks to fit this, and glue it in place, and try to get some sawdust and put a little bit around it. Hopefully we can kind of minimize the exposure of it. So that's our plan. Okay, what we're gonna do is I got a compass and I measured it from the inside, hoping I could go ahead and just measure it up to the edge, but it didn't quite work. I was about 32 of an inch shy and I didn't want it to be that loose. So I measured it and 35 millimeter comes out to about 1.5 inches. So what we did was I went ahead and just divided this down to 3/4, and we're going to make our circle here on this piece of wood, and then we'll cut it out on the bandsaw. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll strike a line down the middle here. There. That'll give us a reference. Okay. Holes, plugs all set. I got them set up to the orientation that I want. It kind of follows the grain, even though it was a different board. By coincidence, some of the grain follows each other. So we'll go ahead and we'll put a little bit of glue in here. See how much glue I got left. Here, and put a little bit in the holes in this crack that we stained. And I will add a little bit of sawdust onto that as well. I have to grab a little bit more later. That'll all be sanded down, but hopefully it'll hide that crack a little bit. Stir this around with my finger, around on the sides, really good. And we'll take our plug, take whatever I have left over here, might as well. Tap. talking back to me. Okay. Set this one in place. Fill that in a little bit, put a little bit around the edge. If anybody else has a better idea of doing this, please put in the comments. Sometimes I get into situations like this and I'm not sure exactly how to do it, but I've seen it done on YouTube. Okay, we'll let that set. Put my clamps on it. Okay, we'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, what I'm going to do here is we're going to make some drawer handles using the cove bit. And just what you do is just basically route out your lines, make a storyline as to where you want to start and stop your cove, here and here. And these lines here are going to be the termination points of the handle itself when we cut it off. So there'll be about an inch play in between to where we can use a screw to screw it in place. So let me go ahead and get set up here and we'll go right into it. Now you don't want to take a full bite off in one shot because you could get seriously injured with a kickback. So you want to take about maybe half of the bit, and what we'll do now is we'll raise the bit up a little bit higher, and then we'll have ourselves set to what we want for our proper depth. Take our plug off from our switch. Make sure that sucker's locked down. Okay. There you go. there's your drawer pull. I don't need anything super big. It'll work perfect for what we need here. And did I mention that cherry burns real easy? It's a beautiful wood to work with, but sanding it, if you sand it too long, or if you router like with this, you go with a certain speed, you go too slow, it'll burn. You go too fast, it'll chatter. You gotta just figure out what that happy medium is. But we'll be able to hand sand that out, and plus it won't even be seen when we get done with this. Okay folks, let's try it one more time. Got the front sanded down best we could, and we'll go ahead and we'll drill the hinge holes for the European hinges here, and we know we're going to get it right because I already had it all measured out, and no mistaking this time. So let's go ahead and get our little pilot hole screws done first. Snaps off. made our drawer pulls, and I countersunk screw holes for it. Nothing fancy, just basic. And there's your cove cup I put underneath. And I already installed the drawers. It worked pretty good. So all we're going to do here is we're going to install these on the door. I didn't do anything fancy other than measurement. It's just going to take it and line it up with the rail and clamp it in place and add 2 screws. Perfect. Okay. All we got left to do is a little bit of sanding and then spray a light coat of polyurethane on it, and we'll be all good to go. So stay tuned. Hold on. Okay, here we are, guys. This is it. We got it installed. It's not exactly as high as I wanted it, but you know what? It is what it is, and it's for the shop. And I think it turned out pretty good. I'm really impressed with it. I've got the drawer over there. I've got all my drill bits and stuff for the drill press right over there, and it frees up some space over here. Now I've got my green box for all my router bits for when I do freehand routing. My little red toolbox, and that's exactly what it is. Sockets, small stubby wrenches, screwdriver, Allen wrenches, just basic stuff that we need around here for tuning up the equipment in the shop. And so we got a little bit more stuff to do here. Maybe we'll make a few more little cabinets and shelves and stuff. Don't really care for shelves much like that one there, because after a while they do collect dust. I like to have cabinet doors. This will probably be the last one that I do with face frame. If I do another one, it'll probably be like this type of door, where it's an overlay. As you can see the difference, the overlay, the door hangs over the frame itself, rather than being face frame where it's inset like this. But I had fun doing it. Okay, here's all the equipment that I got from Kreg that I've had. This is all for cabinet making. Your 35mm door hinge jig that we used and set. Pair of clamps for holding pocket hole corners together or whatever. And here's another one for doing angles, right angles with flat board for the pocket holes. And then we use the shelf drawer jig, or the drawer slide jig to hold the drawer slides in place. The shelf pins for making shelves, for the pinholes for the shelves. And this one here we didn't use. This piece of equipment is used for aligning up your drawer pulls if you have drawer pulls that you want to put on. And you can set them up. You set it and you can go right on through. If you got a bunch of drawers and you just set it the way you want it, and boom, it's right every time. And then our K4 pocket hole jig system, and I also have a plug cutter in here kit, and the plug cutter is designed to where you make plugs that fit. Once you make your pocket holes, you take the plug and you stick it in with glue over the pocket hole where the screw's already been installed, and it just gives a better look on the inside of the door if you want. So, and you can get all this at Kreg Jigs. Again, I'm letting you know I'm not a sponsor, but they do have, you can buy them individually. They do have a kit for cabinet building, and I saw it on there, but I'm not sure exactly what it all covers. I believe it covers all of this over here, minus the pocket hole jig, and which is understandable. But yeah, you can go to cregjig.com and see all this equipment on there. Well, it just about does it for this episode of cabinet making. Just wanted to share with you that not all of us are perfect, and we do make mistakes, and I wanted to show those mistakes and how to correct them if you run into that situation. It's not all that hard, and actually once we got done with it, it looked pretty good to where you couldn't even see it. So I'm pretty pleased with the way the cabinet came out. So I want to thank you, and if you like this content, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. There's no fee for subscribing. All that'll do is that'll let you know the next video that I have coming up and any other things that I might put out. So, and also I'd like to give a big shout out to Mountain Fire Department in Crawford, Tennessee. They are out near Hanging Limb, Tennessee, and they are out in the middle of nowhere. But I tell you what, folks, they got some incredible trucks, apparatus up there. And every year they have a thing to get together that they have to support them in the community, and I encourage you to go there to check it out if you're in Tennessee and from Tennessee. It's a really good thing, and they're great folks up there. So, and again, I would like you to support your local fire department. Stop in and see them if they're there when they're doing training or doing their truck checks. Just go up and introduce yourself. Tell them what you're interested in seeing what they have and what they do, and you might be surprised as to what equipment that they have and what they do and what their capabilities are. I remember in my last department that I was at, people thought we were a paid department, and they lived there for years, even though it said volunteer on the outside of the department. Okay, folks, you have a good one, and we'll see you at the next one. Bye.